Pain is temporary, pride is forever. Pain is temporary, pride is forever. Woo! It's Emmy. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Emmy. I'm a certified nutritionist and the creator of the Slim on Starch program, the one-on-one coaching program where you lose weight on a plant-based diet and live your life fully. So today, honeys, I'm going to be talking about my top running tips. Now, these running tips are applicable whether you are a beginner or whether you're an ultra marathon runner. These are the tips that I use every single day. These are the mantras that I say to myself every single day so that I can get that job done. Now, we're going to be talking about running tips while you are actually doing the act of running. So these are the things that you're going to do while you're actually running, because yeah, I can say set a schedule, get good sneakers, get a good playlist, but that doesn't help you when it's actually happening. And that's where people need the most guidance, is how do I keep going once I'm actually doing the act of running? Because that's when it starts to get hard. So I'm gonna be sharing those tips with you guys. Now, if you're not a runner, this is applicable to any exercise that you do. So if you like to do HIIT workouts or CrossFit or Pilates or classes, whatever it is that you do, you cycle, you walk, this is applicable to that as well. So just take what I'm saying and apply it to whatever it is that you are doing. So a little background about me. I am a runner tried and true. I remember one morning I got up and I was like brushing my teeth or doing something at the sink. And my dad was like, "Good morning, Emmy." And I was like, and he was like, "Haven't had your morning coffee yet?" Which is like, I don't drink coffee. It was like a joke. Like, Dad, you're so funny. But I was like, haven't gone on my run yet. I'm the type of person where it's like, if I haven't run yet, don't talk to me. I run competitively, I run marathon, and it is something that I do every single day. I run 6 miles a day, and if I don't, this is what I look like. I'm also gonna finish up this video with a Q&A because I went onto Instagram and asked you guys what questions you had about running, so I'm happy to answer those as well. So let's get into the tips. Okay, tip number 1 has to do with actually getting yourself out there. And it's something that I always remind myself that if I ran every single time I felt like running and I was so excited about it and I couldn't wait to get out there, I wouldn't be where I am today. Because a lot of the times when I go out for my run, I really don't feel like it. I would rather just stay in my warm, cozy bed. I live in Boston. It gets pretty cold here. If I ran every single time that I actually wanted to, like really wanted to get out there, I wouldn't be where I am today and I wouldn't have the fitness that I have today. And that's the way it is with elite athletes, with Olympic athletes. They get up and they train as a non-negotiable. So that's something that you have to remind yourself of, is that if you're not feeling it, still go out there, because I promise you that when you finish that run, you are going to feel incredible. Which brings me on to my next point, which is do it for that last mile. For me, it's the last mile. Maybe for you, it's the last 5 minutes or the last 10 seconds. Or if you run around the block, it's the last few steps. But that last part of your run, you feel incredible and you just push it out and you gas it and you give it everything that you have, and you get this feeling inside of you like you're invincible, and you just push and push, and then you finish and you feel amazing. And the first part of the run, it's difficult and it can be hard and you might not be feeling it. But then just say to yourself, I'm doing it for that last bit, that last mile, that finishing feeling. Nothing, I'm telling you guys, nothing beats that feeling of when you finish and when you're done. You are like, oh my God, I feel amazing right now. Nothing beats that feeling. Do it for that feeling because you will get it. All right, my next tip is to start out at grandma pace. Start out your run thinking to yourself, I could run this way for 10 hours. I mean, this pace is so easy. I could run this all day long. If you start out gassing it and like huffing and puffing, you're not gonna last long at all. You're gonna be like Michael in The Office, finishing with your fettuccine Alfredo. No. Start out at grandma pace and really feel like I could run this way for a million years. you can't start out fast because then you're gonna burn out. And this is something that I do myself. My next tip is a quote that my coach used to say to me, and he taught me so much about who I am and in running in general, and really made me develop more grit than I ever knew was inside of me. He pushed us like crazy, and I absolutely loved him for it. He's still alive, but he doesn't coach anymore. The most incredible man on the face of the earth. Truly, he was such a big part of our lives. And you know, there's something to be said about not only the people that are running around the track in the rain and the snow when it's 0 degrees and you have frostbite, but the person who's standing there timing them. He was with us through everything, and he saw us in tears, and he saw us the happiest that we could ever be. He saw us throwing up after races because we were just pushing ourselves way more than our bodies could handle. But he really was with us through it all. And one of the things that he would say, he was a screamer, which we needed, and it made us become a winning team. We won like 5 championships in a row. Is he would say, while we are in the beginning of the race, he'd say, "Settle in, Emily, settle in, settle in." And that's something that I still say to myself when I'm getting into my runs is settle in, find your groove. And because your body should just be moving in this motion, and it's sort of like your head could just disconnect from it. So settle in. The way that I settle in is I sort of disconnect my torso mentally, clearly mentally, but I disconnect my torso from my legs. And I picture my legs as though they're just on autopilot and sort of like a wheelchair almost. Like I honestly do this in my mind. Like if it's a beautiful day outside, I picture as though I'm sitting in a wheelchair and the wheels are just going. And I disconnect my torso from my legs and just think that my legs are just moving. And I'm not putting any work into this, they're just going. And I'm just along for this beautiful ride with the leaves falling and the sun shining. And that's a mental trick that I use to keep myself going and just settle in and get into my flow. So remind yourself of that you shouldn't be pushing, scraping, and digging, which these are words that he used to say to us. He'd be like, dig, scrape. You do that at the end. That's reserved for that last 10 minutes, that last mile, that last 5 seconds, whatever it is for you in the distance that you are doing. That's when you dig and you scrape and you pull. But you shouldn't be digging, scraping, and pulling the entire time. You should settle into your run and really put your body on autopilot and just kind of get into this place where you're sort of not even present, and your body is just doing the motions for you. The next one is a saying that our coach used to say to us. He wouldn't say it, he wouldn't scream this one, he would say this to us in practice, because if he screamed it, then the other runners would hear it. But he would say to us, and he would say this to yourself. And I would say this to myself during races, like when it was me and one other person, and like we were digging, scraping, and pulling that last 100 meters to see who was gonna win. This is something I would say to myself, and your body hurts so much. I would say, pain is temporary, pride is forever. Pain is temporary, pride is forever. Because let's say I'm running the mile, like yeah, that's 5 minutes of the most excruciating pain that I'll ever feel, but I could say for the rest of my life I did that. Like I can say for my entire life that I'm a marathoner. You'll be able to say, if you go out and run whatever it is for you, like if you go out and you do a 5K in under 30 minutes and that was your goal, you'll be able to say that for the rest of your life. And those 30 minutes could be difficult, but you have that checked off your list for eternity. Nobody can take that from you. That's an accomplishment that you have created for yourself. Pain is temporary, pride is forever. And then my last tip is and this is another thing that I sort of say to myself, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So running is not the most comfortable, amazing feeling in the world. For that last mile, which is what I do it for, that finishing feeling, that last, oh, it feels so good when you are just digging, scraping, pulling, and gassing it in that last mile. I live for that. That's why I do it every single day of my life. I literally live for it. But Up until that point, it's hard and it's uncomfortable. So you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable and know that that discomfort is going to give you the reward, but you have to be comfortable with it in order to get to that other side. So that's something that I always say to myself is be comfortable with being uncomfortable, be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And every single time I'm able to do it, because these are the things that I just keep saying to myself, like do it for that last mile. Pain is temporary, pride is forever. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And then you get the huge reward from it, which is that last mile feeling when you finish. There is nothing like that. And for the rest of the day, I just have this unbelievable mental clarity that carries me through the rest of the day. And that is thanks to running. Running is my meditation. Running is my world. It means so much to me on the days that I can't run. If I like my knee is acting up or for whatever reason, I'm not a normal human, because it really does mean so much to me. So those are my tips. And now I'm going to get into some of the questions that you guys asked. Where did I put my phone?
12 seconds later.
Okay. Okay, this is a question about me. Typical run for you, ever run a marathon? If so, time. Yes, usually I run 6 miles a day, and when I ran a marathon, my time was 3:41. How to run in the cold. So something that I've learned is so long as you bundle up, the cold will not, it can't get to you. So for example, what I wore this morning was I wore leggings that were fleece lined. I didn't even wear running leggings because it was that cold out. I wore fleece lined normal leggings. I wore a sports bra, obviously, with a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, and then a jacket over it. So I had 3 layers, and then I wore ear warmers with a hat on top of it, and then I wore a scarf that went around my entire neck, and then I wore gloves. So bundle up, wear tons and tons of layers so that the cold can't get to you. But the most important thing, honestly, is to cover your head, because you lose so much heat through your head, and you have to cover your hands. You have to, or you will get frostbite. How to not get breathless seconds into running. It's the only thing holding me back. So like I said, start out at grandma pace. Start out at a pace where you say, I literally could run this for an entire day. If you're getting breathless, then you're running too fast. And you might say, no, even if I'm going at a slow pace, no. I want you to, like, if you need to just bounce, then do that. If your run has to just be a bounce, then do that. And then you'll be able to build it up more. Starting out as a beginner, I always feel super insecure because I can't run very long. Okay, you should never ever feel insecure, because if you're out there running, you are lapping the person who's sitting on the couch not doing anything at all. A bad run beats a good walk, which beats a great sit. If you're out there, that is something you should be unbelievably proud of, and the bravery that you have to go out there is unmatched. So give yourself a pat on the back, and the fact that you are doing anything is something that you should be so proud of. And just build your mileage up. If you can run 1 time around the block, do that for a week. And then the week after, do 2 times. And you can also safely increase your mileage by about 10% every week without getting injured. So start out where you are, be so proud of yourself for doing that. Get your body used to it, get your feet used to pounding on the ground, and your knees used to pounding on the ground, and then safely build up your mileage by 10%. And be so proud of yourself. Insecure, that is like the opposite of how you should feel, because you are out there when 90% of people can't even say the word run without gagging. How to stay motivated. Like I said, if I went out and ran every time I felt motivated, I would not be who I am today, and I wouldn't be the runner that I am today. I wouldn't have run the marathon that I ran. I mean, I was living in a sorority house when I ran my marathon, and I remember I would go out for my runs and people were coming back from the night before, and it wasn't even like walk of shame coming back from the night before. It was like the night was still happening for them. So like I would be up running at 5 o'clock in the morning, and they would be like leaving the frat house. So if you run every time you feel motivated, you're probably not gonna be running that much, but you do it for that last mile. You will never regret a run. You will never regret a run. That's something you can say to yourself, like, I'm going to feel amazing after this. and I'm probably gonna regret not doing it more than doing it. You will. You'll, not even probably. I shouldn't have used the word probably. You'll regret not doing the run. You will not regret doing the run. How do you build up your mileage after taking a break from running? This is a great question. I would not, so let's say that you could run like 5 miles straight. This person said they're doing a 10K on Thanksgiving, so that's like 6.2 miles. So let's say this person could run like 7 miles straight, no problem. And then they've taken a break. Don't go back to 7 miles. You will injure yourself. Your body is not used to doing that mileage right now. So I would say to probably start out at probably a third of what you were doing before. And I know you're gonna be like, that's nothing, but just trust me, you don't want to get injured. Start out a third, do it for about 3 or 4 days and see how your body feels. And then I would say if you were an experienced runner, start to build it up 1 mile at a time for about 3 to 4 day increments, and then see how your body feels and go at that pace. I want to run so badly, but it's so hard for me to get out and consistently enjoy it. The whole run, I'm focusing on when the run will be over. This is where you're going to use the mantras that I said to you, and be comfortable being uncomfortable, and know that that's part of the grit that makes a runner, is that you're able to go out when you don't want to do it, and you do it for that last step feeling, and you do it for the mental clarity that you get after. It's sort of like an ice bath. People that are sitting in ice baths, it's not enjoyable to be in the ice bath, but they do it because of what they get afterward. How do you figure out which shoes to buy? What do you look for in good running shoes? I recommend Hoka. I've just started using Hoka, and I'm absolutely loving them. They have not cured because you can't cure it, but they've saved my life, because I did struggle with patellofemoral pain syndrome, which is your kneecap is supposed to move up and down when you move, but mine can move side to side. Unpleasant feeling, but the Hokas have just done wonders, and they're totally vegan. I was using Brooks because Brooks are vegan, but I wanted to support another vegan company, so I tried Hokas. Oh my god, life-changing. Alright guys, that is it for this video. If you want some more running videos, please let me know, and I'll see you in my next one. Woo!